Welcome to my bold and beautiful today's show channel. I hope today fantastic for everyone. Please hit the subscribes button and give this video thumbs up. Hope's shocking discovery about Liam's new living arrangement leads to devastating truth. Hope Logan becomes suspicious when she learns Liam Spencer has moved in with Steffi and Finn, unaware that her ex-husband is hiding a terminal diagnosis that will soon devastate their entire family. Hope uncovers Liam's shocking new living arrangement, devastating secret threatens to shatter fragile peace. Hope Logan's world is about to be rocked to its core when she discovers where Liam has been hiding, and WHO has been living with. For weeks, Hope Logan has been nursing her wounds after her humiliating ouster from Forrester Creations. But tomorrow, her professional problems will take a backseat when she makes a discovery that will leave her absolutely stunned. After noticing Liam Spencer's prolonged absence from their daughter Beth's life, Hope finally goes looking for answers, and what she finds will send shockwaves through her already fragile emotional state. Hope's search for the truth leads to heartbreak. It's one thing to be kicked out of the family business and have your fashion line cancelled, but it's quite another to realize the father of your child has mysteriously vanished from your daughter's life. Hope has been so consumed by her professional downfall that she hasn't fully processed Liam's strange disappearance. But on May 1st, that all changes when maternal instinct kicks in and Hope starts asking the tough questions. Hope gets suspicious of Liam's new living arrangement, confirms the official synopsis for tomorrow's episode. And with good reason. The devoted dad who once moved heaven and earth to be with his miracle child has been eerily silent, failing to check in on Beth for weeks. Meanwhile, he's been spending quality time with Kelly, even giving his daughter with Steffi a special dada-daughter dance, something that will cut Hope to the core when she finds out the devastating truth behind Liam's disappearance. What Hope doesn't know but viewers do is that Liam is harboring a secret that would destroy her. After collapsing at Bill Spencer's mansion following a heated argument over Luna Spencer, Liam hit his head and was rushed to the hospital. The diagnosis? An inoperable brain mass that multiple doctors have declared terminal. Only Steffi Forrester and her husband Dr. Finn Finnegan are aware of Liam's grave condition, creating an impossible situation where Steffi knows Hope's co-parent is dying while Hope remains completely in the dark. In a controversial turn that some viewers have questioned on ethical grounds, it was actually Steffi who broke the devastating news to Liam about his terminal prognosis. Liam's puzzling priorities raise red flags. The most heart-wrenching aspect of this storyline is Liam's choice to move in with Steffi and Finn rather than spend his remaining time with both of his daughters. While the arrangement makes practical sense, Finn is a doctor who can monitor his condition, and it allows him to be close to Kelly. It has left Beth without her father during what may be his final days. For Hope, who endured the trauma of believing Beth was dead only to discover she was alive, Liam's current neglect of their daughter will feel like the cruelest of betrayals. When she discovers that Liam has prioritized one daughter over the other during this critical time, will she lash out at Steffi for keeping this life-altering secret? Bill's fallout with Liam adds another layer. As Hope begins her investigation into Liam's whereabouts, she may turn to Bill Spencer for answers about his son. What she'll discover is that father and son had an explosive confrontation that ended with Liam quitting Spencer Publications and Bill telling him he wanted nothing to do with him. The irony? Bill remains unaware of his son's terminal condition, creating yet another painful dynamic in this increasingly complex web of secrets and lies. When Hope finally learns the truth about Liam's diagnosis, will she be the one to build bridges between father and son before it's too late? Confrontations and choices. Tomorrow's episode marks a pivotal turning point as Hope begins to unravel the mystery of Liam's new living arrangement. While fans speculate about whether Liam will actually succumb to his condition or experience a miracle recovery, this is a soap opera. After all, one thing is certain. The emotional fallout from this revelation will forever change the relationships between these characters. Will Hope forgive Steffi for keeping such a monumental secret? Will she put aside past hurts to support Liam in his final days? And how will both women help their daughters understand and cope with the impending loss of their father? Don't miss Thursday's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, as Hope's world is turned upside down once again in what promises to be one of the most emotional storylines of the year. Hope suspects, Liam's big move, Elektra's success. The Bold and the Beautiful are here. In the next episode, fans can expect Hope Logan to get suspicious after finding out about Liam Spencer's, Scott Clifton, new living arrangement. Plus, Will Spencer congratulates Electra Forrester on her happiness and success. Well, that's never a good sign in soaps, so let's get started. Liam Spencer's living arrangement. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect Liam to have a new living arrangement. I'm not sure if it was ever mentioned where Liam moved to after leaving Hope's cabin. Liam definitely can't stay with Bill Spencer. It also isn't good for Liam to be staying alone, and if he's dying, he probably will say no to living the rest of his days in a hospital bed. Read more. Find out what happened on the last episode of B&B. There is reason to believe that Steffi Forrester Finnegan and John Finn Finnegan invite Liam to stay with them. Shin might reason that way. If there is a medical emergency, at least the good doctor will be nearby. Steffi will also want Liam and Kelly Spencer to spend as much time together as possible. Read this. The latest B&B comings and goings. Hope Logan suspicious. However, Liam doesn't just have a child with Steffi. Liam also shares a daughter with Hope, Beth Spencer. It's a bit odd that Hope said she hadn't heard from Liam in a while and even feared something was wrong. Although Liam wants his inoperable brain tumor kept a secret, he will have to face Hope at some point. Liam might have a cover story for Hope to explain his new living arrangement. However, she will be suspicious. That could lead Hope to start questioning Finn. Although Finn is banned from Hope, they were friends at one time. Plus, Finn has a moral compass and empathy, so he will have a hard time lying to Hope's face about her dying ex-husband. This is especially true because young children are involved. Read this. The bold and the beautiful 3 things Liam must do before he dies. Electra Forrester's joy and success. The bold and the beautiful for tomorrow reveal that Will congratulates Electra on her joy and success. Knowing Will, he'll want to celebrate in an intimate way. However, Electra could make excuses once again. I really wish Electra would just tell Will that she's a virgin and to stop being so pushy. Thursday, May 1st, 2025. Going back to Electra's success, don't expect it to last long. Although Electra seems very deserving of happiness and success, Luna Nozawa is plotting her rival's downfall. Hope's shocking discovery about Liam's new living arrangement leads to devastating truth. Hope Logan's life has been a whirlwind of betrayal, loss, and professional humiliation, but nothing could have prepared her for the bombshell she is about to uncover. When she finally pieces together the truth about Liam Spencer's sudden disappearance and his shocking new living arrangement with Steffi Forrester and Finn Finnegan, the revelation will shake her to her core. What begins as maternal concern over Liam's absence from their daughter Beth's life quickly spirals into a devastating realization Liam is hiding a terminal diagnosis, and Steffi, of all people, has been helping him keep the secret. The fragile peace between Hope, Liam, and Steffi is about to shatter as long-buried emotions, unresolved tensions, and heartbreaking choices come to light. For weeks, Hope has been reeling from her forced exit from Forrester Creations, her fashion line cancelled, and her professional identity stripped away. But as the initial sting of her career collapse begins to fade, a far more personal crisis emerges: Liam's inexplicable distance from Beth. The man who once fought tooth and nail to be in his daughter's life, who endured the unimaginable pain of believing Beth was dead only to later reunite with her, has now become a ghost in her world. Hope's instincts scream that something is terribly wrong. And when she finally decides to investigate Liam's whereabouts, the truth she uncovers will leave her breathless. The official synopsis for the upcoming episode confirms that Hope grows suspicious of Liam's new living arrangement, and for good reason. The devoted father who once prioritized Beth above all else has been mysteriously absent, yet has been spotted spending precious time with Kelly, his daughter with Steffi. The revelation that Liam has been indulging in sweet father-daughter moments with Kelly while neglecting Beth will cut Hope deeper than any professional betrayal ever could. How could Liam, the man who once claimed Beth was his miracle child, suddenly turn his back on her? The answer, when it comes, will be more devastating than she could have imagined. What Hope doesn't yet know but the audience does is that Liam is carrying a secret so heavy it threatens to destroy everything. After collapsing at Bill Spencer's mansion following a heated argument about Luna, Liam was rushed to the hospital, where doctors delivered a horrifying diagnosis: an inoperable brain mass, one that multiple specialists have deemed terminal. The only people privy to this life-shattering news are Steffi and Finn, leaving Hope completely in the dark about the fact that the father of her child is dying. The ethical dilemma of Steffi being the one to break the news to Liam has already sparked controversy among viewers. Should she have been the one to tell him? Should Hope have been informed immediately? The moral complexities of this situation only deepen the emotional turmoil ahead. Perhaps the most agonizing aspect of this storyline is Liam's decision to move in with Steffi and Finn rather than spend whatever time he has left with both of his daughters. While the arrangement makes medical sense, Finn, as a doctor, can monitor Liam's condition, and being close to Kelly ensures he doesn't miss out on precious moments with her. It also means Beth is being left behind. For Hope, who endured the unspeakable trauma of losing Beth once before, Liam's sudden withdrawal from their daughter's life will feel like a cruel twist of fate. The pain of knowing that Liam is prioritizing one child over the other in what may be his final days will ignite a fury in Hope unlike anything she's felt before. When she confronts Steffi about the secret she's been keeping, will their already strained relationship survive the fallout? Complicating matters further is Bill Spencer's fractured relationship with his son. After a vicious argument that led to Liam quitting Spencer Publications, Bill coldly declared he wanted nothing more to do with him. The tragic irony? Bill has no idea that his son is dying. As Hope begins digging for answers, she may turn to Bill for information, only to uncover yet another layer of heartbreak in this tangled web of secrets. If and when Hope learns the truth about Liam's condition, will she be the one to bridge the gap between father and son before it's too late? Or will Bill's stubborn pride leave him with an eternity of regret? The upcoming confrontation between Hope and Steffi promises to be explosive. Hope will undoubtedly demand to know why Steffi, her longtime rival, was deemed worthy of Liam's trust while she, the mother of his child, was left in the dark. Steffi's defense, that she was honoring Liam's wishes, may not be enough to quell Hope's rage. The question remains, will Hope be able to set aside her anger and pain to support Liam in his final days, or will the betrayal cut too deep? And how will Beth and Kelly process the impending loss of their father? Both girls are too young to fully grasp the gravity of the situation, but Hope and Steffi will have to find a way to guide them through the grief while navigating their own complicated emotions. Meanwhile, the drama surrounding Electra Forrester adds another layer of intrigue to the episode. Will Spencer's congratulatory words about her joy and success may seem harmless, but in the world of soaps, such moments often precede a downfall. With Luna Nozawa scheming in the background, Electra's happiness may be short-lived. Will she finally stand up to Will's relentless advances, or will Luna's manipulations succeed in tearing her down just as she's finding her footing? As Hope's world implodes once again, viewers are left wondering, will Liam's diagnosis truly be the end, or will a last-minute miracle save him? After all, this is a soap opera. Medical miracles are never off the table. But regardless of the outcome, the emotional scars from this revelation will linger. Hope, Steffi, and their daughters will never be the same after this. Don't miss the next episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, where Hope's search for answers leads her to a truth more devastating than she ever imagined, one that will test the limits of love, forgiveness, and family bonds. Hope Logan's life was already in freefall, her dreams crushed and identity shaken following her painful expulsion from Forrester Creations, but nothing could have prepared her for the soul-rattling discovery she was about to make, one that would change the way she viewed her ex-husband Liam Spencer forever. For weeks, she'd nursed her emotional wounds in private, licking her professional scars after being unceremoniously cut from the company her mother helped build, her beloved fashion line unceremoniously cancelled, and her creative voice stifled. But as May dawned, Hope's maternal instincts began to override the cacophony of career collapse, stirring within her a nagging awareness. Something was seriously wrong with Liam. Where was he? Why hadn't he reached out to Beth, their daughter who once held his every heartbeat? And why, despite their complicated history, did she feel a sense of rising dread every time she thought about him? It began subtly: missed calls, unanswered texts, silence where once there had been an incessant, almost obsessive presence. And then came the whispers that Liam had been spotted with Steffi and Finn, spending increasing amounts of time with Kelly. At first, Hope brushed it off as part of Liam's usual pattern, his ever-evolving pendulum between the two women he had loved and wronged. But the distance was different this time. It wasn't just physical, it was spiritual, emotional, eerie. He wasn't just absent, he had disappeared from her and Beth's life as if he'd cut an invisible tether. And so, unable to live in the ambiguity any longer, Hope made a choice, to find out the truth herself. When she arrived at the Cliff house, it wasn't the sunlit domesticity of the Forrester Finnegan household that stopped her in her tracks, but the disorienting sight of Liam, laughing softly with Kelly in the garden, while Steffi and Finn watched from inside, their expressions unreadable. Hope felt like an intruder on a scene that had no space for her. The man she once loved, the father of her child, looked pale but peaceful, his attention entirely devoted to the daughter he shared with Steffi. Where was Beth in this picture? Her heart pounded with the realization that Beth had become a ghost in Liam's final chapter. When she confronted Steffi, the truth came spilling out like a dam bursting under the weight of too many lies. "He's dying," Steffi whispered, her voice trembling, and suddenly Hope's entire body went numb. The words didn't make sense. Liam couldn't be dying. He was young, strong, healthy. She'd just seen him with Kelly. But the explanation came swiftly and brutally, after collapsing. At Bill's mansion during a heated argument about Luna, Liam had been rushed to the hospital where a brain scan revealed the presence of an inoperable mass. Multiple specialists had confirmed it. There was no treatment, no surgery, no miracle. Only time, and not much of it. Hope's knees nearly gave out. Her tears were immediate, as if summoned by a primal force inside her. She couldn't breathe, couldn't comprehend. And yet the betrayal surged just beneath the grief. Why hadn't anyone told her? Why had Steffi and Finn, especially Finn, who had sworn to uphold medical ethics, kept this from her? Her rage was molten, her heartbreak incalculable. She thought of Beth, of the bedtime stories Liam had missed, of the school plays and family dinners he'd skipped without explanation. Her little girl had been robbed of the chance to say goodbye, all while Liam played house with Steffi and Kelly. The unfairness of it all cut through her like a serrated blade. Was her daughter less worthy of these final moments? The pain of Hope's loss to be dulled just because Kelly's father got a few last dances and whispered bedtime kisses? And yet, even as the storm raged inside her, she couldn't help but see the exhaustion behind Liam's smile, the fragility in his posture, the way he leaned ever so slightly on Finn when he thought no one was looking. This wasn't a man playing favorites. This was a man dying in silence, too broken to divide himself evenly between two worlds. But silence was no longer an option. The news of Liam's condition spread rapidly once Hope confronted him directly, her tears mingling with his as he apologized for the choices he had made. "I didn't want you to see me like this," he admitted, the words crumbling under the weight of his guilt. "I wanted Beth to remember me strong." It was a sentiment Hope could understand intellectually but not emotionally. All she could see was the hurt in her daughter's eyes when she found out her father had been slipping away, one day at a time, and no one had told her. The next wave of devastation came from Bill Spencer, who remained in the dark about his son's prognosis. After their vicious fallout, an altercation so intense it ended with Liam storming out of Spencer Publications for good, Bill had written Liam off. It had taken everything out of the elder Spencer to let go of his stubborn son. When Hope approached him, visibly shaken and desperate, Bill's initial response was defensive. But as she relayed the details, the color drained from his face. "Terminal?" he echoed, his voice cracking for the first time in years. The grief hit him like a freight train. He'd pushed his son away in anger, not knowing he was pushing him into the arms of death. The guilt was staggering, and for once, the mighty Bill Spencer was speechless. The days that followed were a blur of confrontations, reconciliations, and emotional landmines. Hope had to explain to Beth what was happening, a task she could barely manage without breaking down herself. The child's eyes widened, her lip quivered, and she asked a question that tore Hope's heart in two. Did Daddy stop loving me? No amount of reassurance could fully erase the pain of what had been lost. Meanwhile, Steffi wrestled with her own guilt. She had tried to shield Liam, to give him peace and comfort in his final days. But had she done so at the expense of Hope and Beth's right to grieve, to say goodbye? The tension between the women reached a boiling point. Accusations flew. Hope called Steffi selfish. Steffi fired back that Hope had been too consumed with her career implosion to notice Liam disappearing. Finn, stuck in the middle, tried to mediate, reminding them that the real enemy was time itself. Eventually, they all had to confront the unbearable truth together. Liam's clock was ticking down, and every second wasted in blame was a second lost to love. As the soap world speculated endlessly, would Liam die? Would a miracle save him? Was this the end or a cruel twist? The reality on screen was stark and human. Liam began to deteriorate. His speech slurred occasionally. His balance faltered. The once vibrant man was becoming a shadow of himself. And yet, in those fleeting moments, came unexpected grace. Hope and Liam began to heal their fractured bond, not as lovers, but as parents and old souls who had shared too much life to let bitterness win. They took Beth and Kelly on outings together, picnics in the park, beach walks at sunset, even a trip to the planetarium where Liam whispered constellations into Beth's ear, pretending for just a moment that he'd be there to teach her about stars forever. Even Bill found a way back to Liam, showing up one morning with pancakes and a trembling apology that only a dying man could accept with a nod. The moment was quiet, powerful, and utterly raw. Through it all, the fabric of the show itself seemed to stretch and pulse with emotional intensity. This wasn't just a medical crisis, it was a family reckoning. Old wounds resurfaced. Taylor returned briefly, shaken by the news and determined to be there for Steffi. Ridge and Brooke found themselves on the sidelines, wondering how to support their respective daughters when their pain seemed irreconcilable. Electra Forrester, rising fast in the fashion world, dedicated her latest show to those facing the darkest night, and Will Spencer, unaware of the emotional minefield, congratulated her, offering a rare moment of levity in a storyline that was otherwise drowning in sorrow. And yet, that contrast only made the stakes more real. Life continued. The fashion world spun on. But for the core group caught in Liam's spiral, nothing would ever be the same. As the storyline marches on, viewers are left breathless. Will Liam make it to Beth's next birthday? Will Hope and Steffi find a truce through shared grief? And what of Luna, who remains a haunting footnote in Liam's collapse? Her role in the blow-up between Liam and Bill still murky, her loyalties unclear? The answers remain hidden in scripts yet to air, but one thing is certain. Hope's discovery of Liam's terminal illness has detonated a time bomb that will reshape every corner of their lives. Forgiveness, understanding, and acceptance now battle with rage, resentment, and sorrow. And in the quiet spaces between scenes, when Liam looks at his daughters and smiles through the pain, the audience is reminded why the bold and the beautiful continues to capture hearts. It tells stories not just of glamour and betrayal, but of what it means to face the unbearable with grace. And as Hope Logan walks beside Liam in his final days, her heart breaking and healing all at once, we are reminded that sometimes the boldest thing of all is to love someone who is already slipping away.